Hello everyone, welcome along again to URS. We are here for Season 3, round number 3. British Grand Prix weekend here. And let's get started. I'm Ryan Ocon31. And I am joined by Thrash here today. Hello. If he's even here. Thrasher, hello. I don't know if Thrasher's here. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Alright.
I can now. Good to have you.
Thank you,
Good
thank
to
you
have
for
you.
having me.
How are you today?
I'm feeling alright. Stomach's
Sounds good.
hurting,
We're
but
just sorting out reserves just for the last
yeah.
moment, so you know we're dealing with that. But either way, I've figured out Alpha and Alpine, and then I'll get to Ferrari quickly. But I'll let Tonus know he's needed. But either way, Thrasher, you were here for last week. You were here for the highlights, the results, the standings. Talk a little bit about that for a moment.
Yeah. So
Make sure
last,
audio's included, by the way.
I think it is. I'm double check.
Make sure.
Yeah, it says it is.
Okay, awesome.
Um, yeah. So last week we were at Jeddah. We had some exciting racing. In my opinion, for the top three at the time, it was Pluto, Kostag, and Chungus. Uh, but that was pretty much that was the main focus. About the last half of the race was those three. Continuing to have exciting battling. It was wonderful to watch. Pluto ended up then taking the win over Kostag with some last lap, last corner drama between Pluto and Chungus. Some contact was made. However, the stewards decided that there was no one at fault. With a little bit of help from Pluto was able to keep the win. Unlucky for Chungus, he DNF'd and was finished P13. But Kosag did get P2 out of that, and Joseph, Kosag's teammate, rounded up the podium. So it was a double AlphaTauri podium. Rest of the results, we had Sam Steed P4, Landon Norris P5, Polo P6, Shot P7, JNT P8, Jab P9, and Alistar P10 with the fastest lap. Um, and then drivers that just missed the points were Aaron O'Connor in 11th, Gagi in 12th, obviously Chungus 13th, CJ 14th, Royce Cracker 15th, and then TJR, Burning Man, Davis, and Com all DNFing. So, that sets up the driver standings. Um, with Pluto now taking a lead, an 18-point lead over Florian Foley. Florian Foley missed last week, and it looks like he will be missing this week. Um, so then you have Sam Steed and Landon Norris tied for third at 22 points, so 3 points behind Foley. You have Joseph, now that is podium, P5 for 21 points. Kostag, Will, Shot, Polo, Jab running up the top 10. And then the constructors, we have a nice little exciting battle for first between Haas and AlphaTauri. 4 points separate the gap. Mercedes is 18 points back. And then McLaren with 22. McLaren and Alfa Romeo with 22. Aston with 20. They're 6 right now. Red Bull in 7th with 15. Alpine 8th with 13. Williams in 9th with 5. And Ferrari only scoring one single point this season.
And there you go. We're just waiting on Brute Gorgon. I keep thinking I'm gonna say Busy Gorgon, but I don't know why, because those two always like collided the names with. But we're just waiting on Brute Gorgon to join, and he should be able to get in the lobby and have us going. We should be able to go in just a moment. He should be joining. If he needs to join McQuali, we'll get him in then. I need to know if he's gonna join. I mean, even if he does join, it will put him in a Haas. So we can just get going. Let me just make sure. Yeah, you can send that out in updates,
Alright.
You can send that out there. It's ready up. but he can join in mid quali. He'll be Haas anyway, so that's fine. Other way, other things to go over. I'm sorry, I just had to look at main chat for a moment, but either way. I can't. These guys are too funny sometimes. They have some of the best personalities in this league, and that's the good thing to have, especially when you have a league with the variety of drivers. With I said ready up. Did I? Yeah, type faster, Thrasher. Come on.
You know what?
But I'm trying to. There we go.
It wouldn't let me ping full-time drivers.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, there you go. Either way. Little thing to go over from last season and round 3 as a whole is the fact that round 3 last season, Atlantis, Riles, and Polo all around the podium in the France wet race. And then, oh my god, that as well. Just make sure I'm checking something quickly. Okay, we're good. But then as well, the other round 3 from the season before was a different kind of podium. Toneless in the Aston Martin, Faded Knights in the McLaren, and GSR Thrasher won that race. He was your only win. And Red Bull won that race as well. Red Bull's first win. All 3 drivers were brand new to the podium, so that was quite nice to see. Not only that, but Britain last season and the season before also saw as well interesting statistics, as we will have a dry qualifying session, it seems. But Britain last season and the season before Thrasher saw interesting statistics, if I could even say the word. We saw a matter of 1 retirement, 1 disqualification. You were the 1 retirement. Chungus was the disqualification. But that led to the most amount of finishers in URS history in a race. Not only that, but you also had the season before the closest margin of victory between Ryan Ocon and Sam Steed. The first one, too, between teammates in a race. So this track, I think, for this league has a lot of history behind it. It's very historic, so that's a good thing to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, this is such a historic track. Not just in URS, but Formula One as a whole. So,
oh boy. Thrasher, dry qualifying, wet race. That's what the drivers have told us. All the way wet, too. This will get interesting. Well,
that's very interesting.
Even the race I commentated, I guess wherever I go, you can't leave it.
Tier 1 in GSR yesterday was full rain in Japan.
I commentated.
And now
we'll need an invite back.
Yeah, he said he went to go grab the setup.
It's 17 minutes in, so I see it reset the timer there, so it's also restarting the timer on my stream too, which I think is the problem. I hope there's no lag on that stream, but we are getting a car that is going out there now. Actually, I've refreshed the stream. It's close to time now, so yeah, 5-second delay, not too bad. That's fine.
I was like, did you change your
a bit rate? Yeah, I did. I made sure it was at automatic, so it sorted itself out. Only 5-second delay, which isn't too bad, so that's okay. But you know, this is a historic track for the league, so obviously, you know, that's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to know that we could have some history today of some sort. First car on track will be rather Burning Man or Lojovic. Either way, considering he's making his return, we'll go to Lojovic. We'll go over penalties to be served in a moment and everything else regarding that. We don't even need to go over penalties to be served, actually, because no one has a penalty for this race. It's like the first time in a while. No penalty into this race, so nice. Good to have.
Yeah, definitely. It was a rather clean race for Jetta standards last week, so it was great to see no penalties coming into this race, and hopefully we can keep it like that.
So it's Suzuka all over again from GSR yesterday, and the thing is here is that, you know, the race I commented yesterday, yeah, that was GSR Tier 1. And it was raining, however, half the field was on dry setup, half the field was on wet setups, and this was because the fact that in the lobby, you will have it show on the left side of the screen the overall race compared to the top of the screen, which showed pretty much what the same thing is, compared to the right side, showing a different thing. So it's the same thing there where, you know, the drivers are confused now. The drivers don't know what to think, and that's confusing them. So that's another race of those we've got. And Burning Man will be the first to start his lap. However, Lojovic we're going to watch, but a little mistake there is going to cause me to watch Burning Man right now, because I'm going to watch Burning Man go through turn 1 here. We're going to go through a hot lap, then go over the driver first starts and reserve appearances. In fact, why not go over it now since Brute Gorgon has joined us here. So, we have Brute returning this week. He was out last week in the Haas, Pluto didn't even have a teammate last week. Burning Man. Now in the Ferrari, both Ferraris out. Toneless also reserving. Toneless is back for the first time in pretty much almost 2 seasons. He raced his Grand Prix back in season 1 and got a points finish. QBR20 Joe makes his return. This time he's a full-time driver. This is in fact where he made his first ever start in the league. TJR, he's a reserve. He's back. And Riles reserving the Alpine once again. After that, I believe it is Lojovic returning to the league again. He's a second driver, in fact, in this lobby to return. Burning Man goes for a spin. Trying to keep it going in the right direction. He's going to go backwards, but keep it off of the wall. Well, next driver who's actually on a lap. We're about to start a lap. Let's see. Who's that going to be? Check quickly. And I think that's it. Lojovic returning. He's a reserve, making his first start of the season. Toneless making his first start of the season. A couple of reserve appearances. We have 5 full-time drivers missing today. However, JNT goes through turn 1 for the first time in his Aston Martin. He gets a full week of practice in and will be able to race this time under quite a bit of practice, considering last week he came back from holiday. Lojovic has now left the session. He's going to need an invite back. A couple people lagging out. However, JNT comes to the end of Sector 1. It will be a 28-2. And the difference in variety of setups here, Thrasher, we'll have to watch out for, because will drivers be on a dry setup? Will they be on a wet setup? What do you think?
Wet setup. What I would think.
It depends on what the weather is, too.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I was trying to get Fox back in. So, yeah, I'm thinking wet setup. You know, it may, yeah, it's a dry quali, but the race is much different from quali. You know, with just everything taken into the concept. So, I would think wet setup, someone may be risky in putting on a dry setup. Depends if we get full wets, if we get inters.
Or what the game is really telling us, you know?
Or, yeah. So
either way, I was going to mention, Com gone to the top, Riles set a time in. A lot of drivers not going out yet. And I don't think it'll rain this qualifying session. However, Alistair goes to the top. He's now fastest in the Alpine. Here is Pluto, though, your championship leader through Sector 1. Aaron Ocon sets on a lap that will be 3rd fastest in qualifying. Here's Pluto through Sector 1. This is better than what JNT was able to do. It's a 27.8, so this is an improvement. Now goes through beginning of Sector 2, left field. Brooklyn, whatever you want to call these corners. I forget what they're called. Probably bad for me to remember. However, now at a Cops corner. Jab sets in a time that is 4th fastest, 4/10 off the top of the field. There comes Pluto through here. Lets off. Cops could be a bit of tough running these drivers in the back marker cars. However, they're the ones having to deal with it. Pluto to the S section now, where he thinks he'll lose some time during the race. During his lap time. Scrub up some lap times later in this session. However, a 4.5 to the other sector. Here's a bit of slipstream from the car in front. Is that his teammate? Yes, it is. There you go. Brute Gorgon working well as a team player here. Now, through Stowe to the final chicane, then the last corner. What does Pluto do? Is it... Oh, he's invalid. Oh, so that slipstream's not going to matter. Toneless, by the way, sets in a time that's 6th fastest.
Yeah, it looks like he locked up, heading in to the finals.
Right about that.
So maybe that's what got him validated, but unlucky there for Pluto, because it looks like he was on a nice lap, especially with the help from his teammate.
Speaking of his teammate, here's his teammate on a lap now. Brute Gorgon, he's got a car in front. It's an Alfa Romeo. Brute clipped the inside curb there, lost the rear. Lucky enough not to spin. However, keeps in a straight direction. The Alfa Romeo gets out of his way. Now, pedal to the metal somewhat. Here's Brute out of turn 4, 5, and down the straight here. I think it's the hanger straight, I believe, or one of these. But look at that. The Haas teammate pays him back. 28.6 though in the first sector, so it is a little bit of trouble here for Brute. However, with some of the drivers currently not on track and struggling in the session so far, you want to set a lap. Joseph also setting a time that's going to set him second fastest right now. Less than a tenth off of the top time of Alistair. The top time is a 29.2. We'll see what the cutoff time will be. Probably as of right now, I'd assume it would be somewhere around the 29.9s, and Brute is invalid.
Yeah, you mentioned the slower pace cars. Oh, calm.
Out of the session.
That
Or
on-
has retired from being safe. I think he thinks he's safe. Might be. Post exit at the time. No, he retired in the pits, I believe. Because he would be down to order right now. So that makes sense now.
Okay, yeah.
That makes sense.
Um,
let's start Lando will soon. What were you saying?
but as you were saying, the slower pace cars, are gonna struggle through cops. So it'll be interesting. Obviously the rest of qualifying and even into the race and what the slower pace cars are gonna be able to do.
Most definitely. Speaking of one of those slower pace cars, it's Lando Norris. He's had great race pace. He's finished 4th and 5th in the first 2 races. What can he replicate here at the British Grand Prix, where he was near his teammate, Kostag, in Season 1 when he did the only British GP. He's done. Now pedal to the metal, pushes it out of the corner. Gonna commit to the inside, now to the right side. What's the Sector 1 gonna be? So far, though, in this session, we have had 8 drivers set times. Lando Norris, 28.3 in the first sector. Q3 from last week was the first Q3 from him in a long time. Lando Norris is known for good races, bad qualies. What can he do? He's got an Alpine in front of him, ducks out of his way. Now going to go to Cop's corner. How is this car going to handle in the Alfa Romeo? His full-time teammate is not here today. Bugatti. Someone's setting the time. However, here's Lando through Cop's corner. Somewhat committed. Maybe not the best he could do, but maybe in the best in that car. Now goes through. Now gets Beckett's. Now to the hanger straight. Here you go. Keeping it valid so far as Lando Norris touches the grass for a slight bit. Now into the curb. It is a 5.6 in the middle sector, so it's not too bad. However, QBR20 Joe set in a time that is 6th fastest. We have 9 drivers halfway through the session who've got a time on the board, and that's not going to be good enough considering how many people do not have laps in right now. We will see a rush to the flag because you have to set a time to get through to the next session. Lando Norris is the next one to do that. What's he going to do? Coming to the line, it will be 9th fastest behind his teammate. And that is not far off from the reserve, Toneless being ahead.
Yeah. I'm saying another way to watch it.
Yeah. Like that again, yeah.
So, not bad. Obviously not the lap he wanted from Lando, but yeah, you know,
Definitely. J&T also spun in the last corner. Sorry to cut in.
I was looking for someone else to on a lap. How about is he on a
TGR
lap?
is about to start one, I think. TGR is about to start one. This will be interesting in the Red Bull. He got the reserve here. Red Bull last week qualified in the top 5. Couldn't really make much of it in the race. However, can he make something of it this week? Goes through turn 1, turn 2, Abbey corner that was. Now, ooh, I mean, you see a bit of gravel on the track. Someone got in the gravel earlier, so we'll have to see who that may have been. Now through turn 4, 5, and pushes it here. The end of sector 1. Out of the straight, where that Red Bull will have a lot of straight line speed. A lot of downforce in the car too. 27.9, the first sector for TJR. Not purple, but still not a bad first sector either. And we'll be seeing what the cutoff time will be if it continues the way it is. As Polo God sets a time that's 5th fastest, we could be probably 29.9, maybe 30.0. Anywhere from there could be the cutoff time. Last season's British Grand Prix qualifying was very close. Speaking of close to the limits is TJR. Coming now through Maggots and Beckett's as he went through Cop's corner. What's this going to be? Now, can he keep this valid, though? On board with him. 6th gear, 5th gear. Upping the gears, 6th gear now. Someone said on a time that was Sam Steed, 11th place for him. 4.7 for TJR through the middle sector, so not bad for him. He is definitely improving on what I think he would have done, because I did not expect much from him so far in pushing this, considering how many drivers have set a lap and how many haven't. However, TJR could set in a time here that is inside the top 4. What will it be? Comes to the line, Funnel for King complete. And what's this going to be for TJR? It will be fastest, 29.1. He's faster than Alistair right now. Not bad from the the Norwegian driver. Oh, American accent. I had to sneak in that a little bit there.
Wow. That was kind of a nice lap. I don't think he had He may have passed the sector 3, but I don't think he had passed the sector 1 or 2.
Oh, so fair play to him. The Red Bull will be one to watch for, even with Aaron, who's up in 5th. Kostag's now about to start a lap here. He was invalid on the last one. Valid for this one. Talk about this one, Thrasher.
And so, in turn 1, beautifully done there for Kostag. Turn 2. Now, turns 3 and 4. A little trickier this game, but Kostag seems to do it just fine. Now down the first of, I believe, 3 straights. Or 4, actually. Pluto actually goes now fastest. Nice lap there from Pluto. But yeah, Kostag Sector 1 was, I couldn't even see it. It was glitched.
22. 46
okay.
up.
Yep, so now Kostag beautifully done now there through this old pit straight. Now into Cops. Beautifully entry. Goes a little wide.
Oh, keeps it valid too.
Keeps it valid somehow.
That'll be weird.
Now into Vegas, and now Vegas. And then onto the hangar straight he will go.
Oh, committed.
And in Sector 2, he's about 2/10 up. Kostag, so he might be able to beat Sam and Lando. And maybe even Toneless on this lap. Kostag now to the final couple corners. Nicely done there, a little bit sideways. Oh, and he spins.
Oh! And that would have been a lap, I think, that would have got him at least ahead of Sam. And that definitely would have changed the cutoff line. Because Kostag is currently on the elimination zone. So is Burning Man now, who just set a lap right there, too. Not only that, but Polo thinks he's safe up in 7th. That time is a 29.5, I believe. Yeah, it is. So we'll see. Logivic is lagged out once again.
Jab goes
Up
4th.
ahead there. There you go. 5/10 up. TJR thinks he's safe as well. JNT thinks he's safe as well. No flags in the final sector. Watch somebody else who's on a lap. Chungus on a lap now, as you might want to invite Logivic out because... Or, sorry, invite Logivic back to the session because he's only got 3 minutes to set a lap in. So does Brute, who's about to start a lap too. But Chungus, last season in this race, qualified 2nd. Let's see what he can do this season. And where he qualifies 2nd the last 2 Grand Prix here in URS. Has not got a pole. However, this is the start of his challenge to a pole. Davis thinks he's safe, thinks he's through. 28-1 Sector 1 for Chungus, keeping it valid so far. Using the amount of curb he wants to. However, don't spin out. Be careful and execute whatever you need to. And due to the limits. He's doing that right now. Touches the grass right now in the straightaway. Now, down the old start-finish straight into Cop's corner. Very committed in the Williams. I think that Williams was a lot faster there through that corner than a lot more of the back markers. Now, comes through Meggetts. Beckett has to keep this valid, especially considering you've got 2 minutes left in the session. And this is his one chance, possibly, to get himself into Q2. That cutoff line is Kostag as well. Joe thinks he's safe to 4.8, so it is purple for a moment. So he is going fast, but he's got to keep this valid. He's got to keep himself committed. Don't spin out and keep it going. Alistair also thinks he's safe. He's up in 2nd right now. Chungus now is going to go through the chicane. Final chicane. Can he keep this committed? Can he execute the corners that he needs to? Can he get this to the line? What's it going to be? Chungus will go 3rd fastest. He's out of the elimination zone, and he will be safe into Q2 surely. Behind that, Brew Gorgon's on a lap of 5-1 from him as well. Lando Norris is on the cutoff. Toneless is right there too. That cutoff time right now, although no one's improving much, as Kostag is out. Kostag does not think he's safe, so he is definitely out of this session and not going to make it to Q2. However, that cutoff time is a 30.2 with Sam in the elimination zone. Here's Brute Gorgon going 10th, pushing Lando Norris out, making the 2 teammates at risk.
This is very interesting, and I don't think Logivic, I've invited him back several times. He's not going to be able to get a lap, and
Sam's just coming out of the pits right now. He's on an outlap. Keep that in mind. And there's only a minute left in the session. He's going to have to rush to get out there. The first sector is 28 seconds. And with the times these guys are setting, he may have to cut the track to get to a lap. And you're not allowed to do that. So Sam is having to rush this quickly, in fact, just to make it back to the checkered flag and get in a lap. Right now, he'd be on Q1 and 2 the last couple of weeks. Here's Toneless. By the way, I think he improved there by 2/10, so he is up. However, could not beat anybody. Next up, Lando Norris. Lajovic out of this session. Burning Man out of this session. Both Ferraris do not see Q2 at all. Sam right now is out. Ostag is out of the session completely. Now it's up to Lando and Sam, who can change things. By the way, Brew Gorgon on an in-lap. Toneless still can complete a lap and make a shake of things right here. Now, here's Lando Norris and the Sector 1. He is pushing up the gears and barely keeping it valid. However, this has to be one of his best laps to keep himself in the cusp for Q2. 8,000's up right now. That's not going to be enough. Sam's completed the checker flag. Sam can't make it. Sam's out of Q1. Unbelievable. Now, Lando Norris comes through left field. And now, on the Old Star finish straight, he's going to have to set himself up for a good Sector 2 to get himself into the next round of qualifying. More committed there through Cop's corner than he was before on the last lap. However, will that change anything between him and his teammate? Now, Beckett's made it again, up the gears, 6th, down to 5th, now gotta go back up to 6th, ERS is applied, he's running out of everything, a 10th up, a 10th and a half up, and right now, this would not be enough, but he needs to nail Sector 3 to beat Toneless, pits, he knows he's not safe, however, his teammate's the only one who can change things. Now, Lando to the final chicane for the final time. Can he get himself out of Q1? What's this gonna be in the Alfa Romeo? He was out of Q1 in Season 1 in the Haas. Is he out in the Alfa Romeo? You know he makes it through just barely. 200's up. Lando through to Q2. Lando, on the last moment, has knocked his teammate out of Toneless.
Whoa, so close. Teammates. We were wondering which teammate. No, it was only between Lando and Toneless who was going to make it into Q2, who was out in Q3. Lando by 23 thousandths.
Wow. Wow. I believe that. That's crazy. Pluto, Alistair, Chungus, TJR jabbed the top 5. Look at how close it is between those drivers. Car might have a little bit to do with it, but what an interesting Q1 we've had with the full grid that we've had today. First full grid for a British Grand Prix as well, so that's a bit of a record to break. However, out in qualifying, Lajovic, Burning Man. Now you go back to Kostag, Sam, and Toneless. By the way, both Ferraris and AlphaTauri, by the way, which saw the podium last week, a McLaren and an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, and I may be wrong about this, but I believe that's 2 weeks in a row that both Ferraris are out in Q1.
Not out in Q1, but that is the second or the third race of the start of the season, though, that the Ferraris did not make Q3. And I think one of them made Q3 last week, but one of them were out the week before anyway. Either way, one thing I want to see here, can we get an interview with any of the drivers who were out? Let's try Toneless. Toneless has not been here in about, by the way, Lajovic mentioning he's had issues joining back the session, so we'll have to make sure he's in the session and everything else. I hope you can check with that, Thrasher. But we'll get Toneless in here. We'll talk to him about being out and qualifying, his teammate knocking him out. What does he expect in his reserve appearance here today? I will quickly get him an invite to the party, and we'll have a quick convo with him about what we think will happen today. JNT will be the first one out on the track, by the way. So we'll mention that. We'll talk to him a little bit about everything going on as well, because teammate's still Lando Norris. Not the first time, by the way, but very nice to see with him in the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, it's not letting me. I don't know if Logic's in or not, but it's not letting me invite him back.
ask him if he's in the session. See anything there? I want to check everything with that. But either way, now to Q2. JNT's spun out right in front of us as well. That's not a good start to his session. However, just to mention about Q2 as well. I think everybody who's here, we expected to be, but fair play to them. JNT has to be really careful re-entering the racetrack. That was tight. Having issues with the stream with loading it. I'm trying to load everything. Lojovic mentioned an invite, so I will get him that quickly to the session.
Okay.
Get that done quickly. If he appears online, see if he appears online and that does anything, because I mean, I don't understand what the issue is for him. You need to invite him or try to invite him there, because my Xbox is being slow.
Yeah, hold on, let me see.
By the way, here we have driver starting a lap, by the way. We'll get Toneless in an interview quickly. Toneless,
Hello.
while we watch these drivers start a lap, I want to talk to you about your Q1 exit quickly. Make sure your audio is included. I know it's not the best of starts to, you know, the brand new season for you, and making a start here, making a reserve appearance. I know back at the British Grand Prix, the last time you raced here, back in season 1, you got a points finish, and you also won in your last start. I know it's not the best of qualifying for you Q1, and maybe not what you expected. However, do you expect more in the race as a reserve?
I hope so.
How did the Alfa Romeo feel while reserving in Q1? Did it feel like a nice car to drive? Did it feel tough? What did you kind of feel compared to your teammate Lando Norris?
The car did feel nice to drive. The only issue I was just running into is that I'm still struggling trying to get a good understanding of how the traction and throttle works within the 106 update. I've been struggling for a while, but hopefully I can get that issue sorted quickly.
Yeah, man, and my last question is, you know, you're here reserving today. I mean, last time you raced here at the British Grand Prix, you were a full-time driver. Is there any more expectations or differences in being a reserve for this race? You know, I mean, obviously, the last start you made back at Portugal, but I know you were a full-time driver then. You also went with a different strategy. Are you likely to go with a different strategy today in a race like this one, considering you're a reserve?
Not sure. And the reason why I say that is because I noticed on my MFD in the garage that it's claiming that it's supposed to rain. But yet I'm seeing sunny conditions, so I heard there's a glitch where the game will say one weather condition and a different weather condition happens, so...
Right.
Oh no, I guess it mainly depends on the weather conditions, on what happens at the start.
Alright, and Thrasher, do you have any questions for Thomas?
No, not really. You pretty much touched up everything I wanted to know, but just hopefully, you score some points and just good luck into the race. It's gonna be chaotic.
Yeah, man. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Alright then.
Catch you a little bit later. Aaron Ocon set a time that was fastest, 29.1. We saw in the last session the 28.9 was fastest. Logivic again is having issues with joining the session, but 28.9 was the time we saw at the benchmark at the top of the field for Pluto, who set the pace. And then it was Aaron with the 29.1. Are we seeing times that are constantly getting slower? As KBR20 Joe, by the way, goes invalid. We'll get in one more interview in this session. We'll get in Kostag. We'll talk to him. We'll see what he's up to. And, I'll have you have a go at him, Thrasher. How's that?
Okay.
We'll talk to him. See what he thinks of everything going on so far. Make sure you tell him to include his audio, by the way. But, yeah, 8 drivers have set in a time. Once he joins, I'll let you have a hold of him. Ask him about his Q1 exit and what he expects about the race. There you go.
Yep, so, Kostag has now... Hello there. Yeah. Make sure you include your audio. Alright, so, Kostag, obviously not the Q1, well, not the qualifying you wanted. Starting again in the back. How was it trouble with the car, or was it just invalidating, or what was it?
Okay, I'm offended again. Sorry, I qualified third last time. Anyway, yeah, it's all a tactical master plan. The Alpha Tauri master plan. I've gone on a full wet setup, just gambling my way to hopefully a good place later on in the race.
Well, nothing wrong with gambling here, especially, you know, starting in the back isn't exactly what you wanted. But hey, let's set up. Is it... So, another question. Obviously last week, you know, you brought home P2. Couldn't quite carry the momentum, but now you go into Silverstone. what are your expectations? Obviously, on the wet setup, it can with some spots, but do you feel like points are, do you feel like you can get some points or what?
Everything okay there? Did he
Hello?
cut out?
Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, my
Okay.
headset is turned off. Yeah, it all depends on the weather, to be honest. Like if it's wet, like I think it is because it has the 85% chance of being wet. I think we're gonna be in for a really good race from the back. But if it's dry, I don't think I'm going pretty much anywhere. Like I've got 50 on the 48 on the back or something on the wings. So
Oh.
yeah, it's ridiculous the full wet setup because usually 85% rain chance or whatever it says there usually means full wet. So I gambled on that and I hope it pays out because from like the party and the times I was seeing in the last quali, pretty much everyone has gone for like a dry setup, just a bit
And you've gone for
customized
wet,
for wet.
maybe?
Yeah, I've gone for full wet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
So,
I'm either going to be absolutely nowhere and at the back, or it's going to be a wonder race. I'm going to just fucking storm to the front. Sorry for cursing, brother.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry. Just gotta
Well-
apologize to the viewers under 13. So that's all.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, that's all for me. Obviously, Ryan will ask you a question, but hopefully you can bring home some points and good luck.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Postag, I do want to wish you good luck, but I do have a question. Right. By the way, this session right now, it's both O'Callahan drivers, both cousins won too. We've not seen that in a while. Either way, the point being here is, you've gone for a wet setup. You've gone, others, in your party have gone for a dry setup here. My question with that is, was that to try something different to maybe go for a win, or maybe try something different because you knew you wouldn't have the pace if you were to use a dry setup? What was the thinking there?
No, I think the pace on the dry setup was kind of like I think I could do the lap times that the people at the front right now are doing. Like the pace was good from beforehand, but yeah, I just wanted to try something different, and because I've had this exact thing happen to me before with supposedly a dry race, but with really high percentage of rain, and then it turned out to be wet. So I was like, yeah, let's just go for a full wet and just
Well,
yeah, just try something different.
times Pluto setting, he could be. Everyone else could be on a wet setup possibly. So who knows how that
Yeah,
goes?
they're all on
But-
like customized dry setups with just up to
Oh, I
wings or
see.
some.
Oh, it's
It's
like
a-
wet variation. I see.
Yeah, at their core they're still on dry setups to be fair. So
We'll
if it's
see how that
full wet,
works, But one thing I'd recommend for you as a driver, because I noticed it, keep checking on that race update with the weather. Keep checking on that. Have the drivers, I'm sorry, who are still in Q2 and Q3 check on that. I don't mean to insult you there in that way, but have them check on it and update you, because you know what? It could go your way, it might not. We'll see how it goes either way. Good luck in
Yeah.
the race, and I hope it all goes well.
From what they've been seeing, the weather's consistent to what it was at the start. Just constantly like 85% chance of rain, but showing dry.
Yeah.
Even though the picture on the race, it shows wet, but then the little like individual like timing swings are showing dry with 85%
Right.
chance. So I don't know. It's really messed up. I think they gotta either fix that on the game or something, because it's just so weird. We had no idea what to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I wish you good luck. Have fun and put on a good
Thank
performance,
you.
man.
Thank you very much.
Catch you later, hopefully.
I'll see you.
See ya. Rasher, 28-7 at the front of the field for Pluto. These first person to get in the 28-7s. This should be an interesting one if that is the case, because guess what? Jab right behind. 28-9 for him. Man, this is really gonna be a good race if we can see the true pace out of these drivers, or what kind of setup they've gone on. There's been multiple different type of things here from these drivers. Polo, Alistair, they both think they're safe. The cutoff is a 29-7, which is slower than last session. We saw Jab improve 4/10. Are we seeing drivers take it easy, and are we seeing track evolution right here, right now?
Yeah, possibly. I think it's kind of like last week. Yeah, are taking it. They're taking it safe, but they want to be a little bit aggressive, especially the JNT Lando group, Joseph and Davis. The five that are currently out. Obviously they're trying to take it safe, but they need to push a little more, knowing
Right.
that they're not in right now. So Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing some track evolution. And the track's going to continue to change, especially as we go into Q3. Um, I wouldn't be shocked if we might see some 28 fives and 28 fours, into Q3. So obviously we'll see if Pluto retires. I think he's safe. So does Aaron Otime.
Reasonable.
But yeah,
Logivic needs an invite back to the session, by the way, but Riles, at the end of the second sector, is this up on his time? He's 3/10 up on his time. This would currently set him 7th, and it would technically make him much more safer than he is right now. He's toward the cutoff, but he's definitely 2/10 ahead of it. However, you can see a 2/10 improvement and be 2/10 ahead of that cutoff again. Riles, final chicane, final time. Celebrated a birthday yesterday. Is he going to celebrate a Q3 appearance today? He will go 7th for right now. It is a 3/10 improvement.
yeah, nice lap there from GSRL's in the LP. J&T currently 3 megas to Beckett's. Coming to the end of the. He is almost 6/10 up.
Who is?
J&T.
Oh, okay. I took my headset off for a minute, so here we go. Finish this one, Thrasher.
Yeah, so now coming into the final set of corners, all he has to do is just don't mess anything up, and he's got a better lap down. J&T beautifully done out of the final corner to the line. He goes 29-1. That's P3 in the ISO line.
And you know what? The top 5 right before that thought they were all safe, thought they were okay. They retired, and now look at this. Look at how things are going. Joseph has yet to set a lap. Invalidates his out lap. Davis yet to set a lap. Also in his out lap. Heading out right now, and he may make it back to the flag, or he may be close. Logivic will need another invite. Combo's fastest, 28.6 now. So that cutoff has now become a 29.5.
Wow. We have Bird on a lap. Currently in the elimination zone. 2/10 up, 28-1 in the first sector. Looks to hopefully keep it up, continue to gain some time now as he's entering the old pit straight gear, so Riles retires. He must
He's also on a lap, by the way, now. That's
Yep.
important to know because he'll be the next to try to get himself out of the elimination zone in the cutoff. Yeah, as much 29.3 to a 29.7, so these drivers need to get in a good lap here.
Yep, Brute's now in, Meggett and Beckett's now beautifully done there. Knows he's got to get to the line. This is his last opportunity. He's 6/10 up, so this is a nice lap there from Brute. If Brute can finish this lap, this might put him into the 1:29.6s. That would just be out. So he needs to see if he can get a couple tenths in this final sector. Checkered flags are out. I believe. Yep, Brute coming to the line. Where does Brute put it?
Ooh!
Oh, he's by a tenth.
Just out. 2/10 up for QBR 20 Joseph, the first sector. Lando coming at the end of the second sector. Here's Joseph. Here's Davis. Next up to cross the line is Lando. Lando through sector 2 now. What's this going to be? 5/10 up. Joe, 2/10 up. So Lando being 5/10 up will help him get ahead of Joe, but it won't put him ahead of Brute as of right now.
And this is very close. This is going to be an exciting next minute or so. Lando now, as he's coming to the line, out of the final corner, Lando, 12th.
Just misses out. Joe is backed off. Joseph goes 5th, so that's going to knock Riles out. Is TJR going to be knocked out now? Here's Davis to say something about it. What is Davis going to do? Comes to the final chicane, final corner. Is this good? It's really good, by the way. He's through. He knocks TJR out, and does TJR have something to say about it? He will. Yes, he does. He knocks Alistair out, and Alistair, who thought he was safe with a gap of 0.6 from the field, is now out of qualifying, out in Q2.
Well, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was. There is your Q2 session. Aaron and Polo were thinking that they were completely safe and they end up 9th and 10th in Q2. They barely made it through in qualifying to Q3. Behind that, however, 48,000, or sorry, ahead of that, 48,000 at the front of the field between Calm and Pluto. Then you have Jab, Chungus, and Joseph. Davis makes it through to Q3, but out of qualifying. Hard to say it. Joe, Lando, Brute, Riles, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but Alistair, who qualified top 5 the last 2 races, is out. He thought he was safe. He isn't, and he's starting mid-pack. And a lot of these names I expected to do better. Joe on a return, full-time. Lando, I mean, I expected him to be there, but Brute, that's a little bit of a surprise. I thought he'd push a little bit more, be able to. Riles as well is a slight bit of a surprise because the Alpine definitely looks stronger, and it's now got both Alpines out of this qualifying session as we go to Q3.
Yeah, definitely. That was so interesting. How we were talking about Polo, and we had an O'Callaghan one too, and now they are the final. They were the final 2 in.
Yeah.
To Q3. So it just shows how much it can change, how much these times can change just like that.
You want to hear a stat for those 2 cousins that you mentioned?
Sure.
Listen to this. So, the last time that both O'Callaghan's made Q3, one of them was on pole. Aaron, back at Portugal. And we also spoke about Portugal too. Toneless was, I believe, out of qualifying at the time and not in Q3. Also didn't make Q3 this time around too. And by the way, won that race too. So, maybe history can repeat itself? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. O'Callaghan's, obviously Aaron on pull up 4-0 the last time that both made Q3. But, I mean, something else that's shocking, correct me if I'm wrong, but Aston Martin, they're the second worst car, right?
Yep, second or the worst, depending on track, varying.
The 2 worst cars, Williams and Aston, both drivers for both teams are in the Q3.
You want to also add into that stat too, Thrasher? Joseph, Chungus, Pluto, and Polo all make it through to Q3, continuing the most consecutive appearance for Q3 at 3. You want to know how that was broken? Sam crashing out in Bahrain. Then went to Riles, who was limited in Australia. Then last week it was Davis who had the previous one, I believe, until Jeddah, where he ended up crashing out in qualifying. And now that streak goes to people with 3 now. 3 consecutive Q3 appearances. That's how things quickly change.
Yeah. Obviously, you said it was Joseph, Polo, Pluto, and Chungus?
Yeah. Pluto, Polo, Chungus, and Joseph.
Well, one of those is on a lap. The name of
And Chungus goes through turn 4, commits somewhat beautifully. Well, he's going to set the rest of this lap up beautifully because you know how Chungus is able to commit to the corners. We saw in Jeddah. We saw how much he can push through the end of Sector 1, 28-0. Sets a halfway decent sector. However, down to 5th. Maybe you're going to do down to 4th. 3rd right there, too. And now, 5th gear, 6th gear, 7th now. And Chungus, by the way, take another front row start of Britain, or will he take a first pole here? This is the quest to do so. This is the start of it. 7th gear through Cop's Corner. Now, up the gears again. Gonna go back down the gears here. 8th, completely 8th. 7th, 6th. Very careful about the throttle. 5th, very much valid there. Very close, very much to the limits. 4-5 to the first sector. What's this lap gonna be for Chungus? Now, coming through Stowe and the final chicane, along with the final corner. What's he going to do? A little wide there, but he'll be the one that people have to beat with the benchmark time. 8.5 minutes remain now. Chungus through the final chicane, final corner now. Can he get a good lap? 28.8. That is one of the fastest times we've seen. The only one who was faster was Pluto. Aaron now was invalid. Comes through the final chicane to start a lap. He will be the next one to start a lap, while others complete their first laps in this session. That's an Aston Martin behind. That's an AlphaTauri. That is Joseph right now. That's the front row. Com crosses the line. Com goes pole again. It's a front row for both Com and Chungus right now. Now JNT takes it over. 2 tenths behind. Behind that, Jab goes front row. took pole in Australia, gonna go front row for now. What's Polo God gonna do? Polo God sets a lap. What will he do? He was invalid, so he will have another go at this. Pluto will have a go. 4-2 through the middle sector, not so bad there. Aaron, 27-9 through the first sector. Aaron has been flying. Calm and Aaron. Oh, by the way, Pluto goes fastest. By the way, I meant to mention, Aaron and Calm have crashed out in qualifying the last 2 weeks. Not made Q3. Now they're through to Q3. Aaron runs wide, though, at Cop's corner. Does he give the time back, though, is the question. Now he's invalid, so that will not matter. But Pluto right now is your driver on pole.
Yeah, great lap there from Pluto. Actually, 28.5. We were talking, we could see some fours in the Q3 because of the track. I can't even speak right now.
There you go. That was what we saw, yeah.
And it's just continuing. So we may see some fours. We could possibly even see some threes, some high threes. So this is just setting up. For the last 6 minutes and 35 seconds left. This is going to be very interesting.
6.5 minutes remain, as you mentioned. Is anyone on a lap? Is anyone coming in? I see a couple of in-laps here. Pluto also on an in-lap. TJR not improving. Davis might be on a lap, though, because he has not set a representative time to start this session. In fact, we talked about round 3. That's where McLaren took the last podium. Speaking of McLaren, the teammate of Davis, Sam, no Q3 appearances to start the season, and he had the most consecutive Q3 appearances for the longest time. And the most active streak for the longest time, too, along with the longest run of Q3 as a whole. Most of them. Davis, final chicane now. Final corner. A little loose, but coming to the line. It will be 7th fastest. Not so great in the McLaren, but not too far off Joseph either, who's not set too much of a representative lap, I think.
Yeah, I think, yeah, so no one else is on the lap. Yeah, so we get Paul, both O'Callahan, you've yet to set a lap. TJR has yet to set an actual lap. So, very interesting.
Yeah.
Something that I would like to point out, though, is Jad and Pluto, the two drivers going into the season who we thought, this is going to be the championship battle. And currently sitting first and third right now with Com splitting them. So this is going to be set up to be very interesting. Com could possibly, go for pole as he's getting ready to come out for his outlap.
Possible final one. Chungus is on a lap or an outlap right now, but you also mentioned, I have to ask, the last three races of the last season, we saw 3 different pole sitters. The beginning 2 races of the season, we saw 2 different pole sitters, making that 5 different pole sitters, 5 different teams they were. Williams, Alpine, AlphaTauri, Red Bull, Mercedes, with 5 different drivers being Alistair, Jab, Davis, Will, and Rice. And, 2 of those 5 drivers are in this session right now. Could we see a first pole from somebody? Could we see anything change? Also want to talk about teams that have never taken a pole. Aston Martin have both drivers in this session. Alfa Romeo don't have anybody, but that would leave them hanging if Aston Martin took one today, making that their first pole. And also, a couple things to mention too. Chungus, 3 front rows now, looking for a first pole. Here's the first of that quest. Now, turn 1, mitts very beautifully right to the curb, and doing everything he can to keep his car within the limits while pushing for a pole lap. 3/10 behind Pluto right now. Very weird entrance right there, but gonna nail this exit a little bit better. Goes a bit wide, might be a bit tough in his car, but can he get DRS applied in time and get himself down the first main straight to get himself up for sector 1? It is a 28-0. It is down 4,000, so it is not an improvement. This would set him 4th if he were to go at all any faster. The rest of the drivers are currently on outlaps. So, what else do we got here in this session? Com starts a lap. Com was on pole last season, took AlphaTauri's first pole and his first. Now, Chungus looks to do the same for Williams, but is invalid.
Yeah, he still has some time to get another lap in. So
True,
it's not.
but
It's
how
not
much
just-
fuel did he put and how much battery is he
True,
gonna
true.
have? You know, you gotta think of everything there. Gonna have to save tons of battery here. Doing a good job of that right now, but has to
Calm.
make sure this Haas is not on a lap.
Com currently up slightly. In
We'll see
sector
what this
1,
is.
purple, sector 1 for Com.
See what this is. However, I do want to go to someone who may start a lap here in a moment. Would like to stick with one driver, but we want to go to somebody who's going to start a lap here soon. Pluto on pole, though. Now I have to talk about Haas because Haas has not taken a pole position since season 1, round number 1. Who is that pole position from? Polo God, who also has his cousin here, who got his first pole when Polo last made Q3 to start the season with his cousin, by the way. That was last Q3 made with his cousin, but Com comes through sector 2. I couldn't see if it was an improvement. We'll see. Can he get himself up on his time ahead of Pluto here? Right now, final chicane now. Is this going to be an improvement? Is this any better? Final corner. Looks like it's really good so far. Comes to the line. Goes pole right now. 2.5 tenths ahead of the next driver. Behind that, starting a lap is Polo. Starting a lap is Davis, Joseph, and the rest of the field. Jab is the first one. He's going to come to the line. Now starts this lap. Next up to complete laps. It's Pluto. It's Chungus. It's TJR. Polo starts a lap. The final minute of qualifying where it's crunch time. You want to get in a lap. Pole right now is a 28.2. Will we see anybody into the 27s? I doubt it, but it could be possible. Jab through the first couple of corners. Beautifully done. Is this an improvement, though? Did he do it better last time, or has he done it better this time? Jab. 54 seconds remain. It's 74 thousandths up. So, the driver who's 3.5 tenths behind, is looking at an improvement.
And here comes Pluto, though. Pluto currently P2 into the final couple corners. Wasn't so far. He wasn't that far up on his time, so it doesn't look like
Wait,
it's gonna
Pluto
be.
comes to the line, though. Is this going to be faster? It is, but he's not going to beat Com. Com right now sits on pole. Sorry to cut in there, Thrasher, but that was important to mention with the fact that Pluto could have stole that right back. Jab. Chungus improves, by the way. He's ahead of J&T, but Jab, is he improvement? He's 2.5 tenths up. Can Jab steal this back? Purple sector. TJR, by the way, goes 6th fastest. It's a bit of an improvement. Aaron on his final lap as well. We'll see him come to the checker flag soon here. The next car to cross the line will be Jab. Is still on pole. He's retired from the session. That'll be it from him. But will it be it from Jab? Will he have a chance to say something about Come to the line? Jab is missing out. He's on the front row, though. Next up is Polo. Polo goes 4th. Does Aaron say anything about it? Sorry, he's on sector 1. He's not going to improve yet. But J&T goes ahead of his teammate. He's 100th ahead of him. Next, it's the McLaren of Davis. Davis, he's been quiet this whole session, this whole season so far. Can he say something where he won his 2nd race in URS? Comes to the line. Davis is 7th. He's ahead of TJR. Next up is Joseph. Joseph, 7 tenths up, is his top 5. Joseph goes 4th right behind Pluto. Pluto, not going to improve. Chungus looks like he's not going to improve. The only one who can say something about it is Aaron Ocon, who has something left in this lap because he's got a 4.6 there. Could this be top 5?
Here it comes. Does he have anything to say? Where could he put the Red Bull? Now into the final couple corners. Aaron Ocon. Does he have anything to say? Is it Come on pole? Will it be Aaron on pole? Aaron goes P8. So
And he is just barely out of Davis. For a 2nd season in a row, is on pole at the British Grand Prix. And how about that? He's ahead of a Williams once again. This time it's Chungus' teammate.
Whew, that was
Hold our breath.
that was pretty exciting.
I know people always mention, you know, like this is gonna be the start to the actual season because we started off with 2 street circuits, but I think it is. We're starting to see what Com can be capable of in that Mercedes. Man, this is close.
Yeah, I agree. So now with quali being over, it's gonna be Jab front row.
Then followed behind that is Pluto, Joseph, and J&T running up the top 5. I'll have you go over the order here for this Grand Prix, but Com, who led Q2, leads Q3, gets himself on pole. This is a second pole for him, but Mercedes, not a first pole for them, by the way. Go ahead through our order, Thrasher.
Yeah, so, obviously on pole, Communist Jab PT will start beside him. Row 2, Pluto, Joseph. Beautifully done there from both drivers. Row 3, it's an Aston Martin lockout with J&T and Polo. Beautifully done there from the Aston Martins. Row 4, Chungus, Aaron Ocon, and then row 5, Davis, TJR.
Before we get to anything, Thrasher, I don't know if you know anything with the strategy or not. And Twitch chat, tell me your predictions for the race. I know we didn't talk about any predictions for pole, but tell me your predictions for the race. But I know we didn't mention strategy too much, Thrasher. Obviously, does not mention too much in qualifying, considering, the fact that, you can be on soft tires and you can start on whatever tire you want at that point with the Q2 tire roll being eliminated. But considering we see rain, tell us what the strategy could be in this race. Tell the viewers what the strategy may be, or what the drivers may want to do, and where they need to be careful in the opening lap here, as I have to quickly be right back.
Yeah, so obviously, as you see, it is raining. Can't quite tell if it's light or heavy. Will it be wets? Will it be inters? Obviously, in the interviews, we had Kostag saying how he was hoping for a wet setup, or he had a wet setup and was hoping for a wet race. Alright, so, sorry, but yeah, got the formation lap underway. I'll go through some favorites. Obviously, Ryan is not here. He said he'll be right
Lies.
back. Oh, okay, the fog's back.
By the way, you want to go over 2 favorites first? That's fine. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Do our favorite. 2 favorites. Let's see.
Yeah, so I'll gladly take my
Go
2
first.
favorites.
Go first.
Yeah, so my first favorite is going to be our pole sitter, Communist, or aka Com45. Beautifully done. There's 2 years in a row that he's on pole at Silverstone. It is inters, so that will be interesting to see further on if it gets heavy or not. But Communist, beautiful pace, done in quality. Can he keep it into the race knowing it's wet now, not dry? And then my second is going to be Kostag. P18, we interviewed him, and he was talking about how he wanted a wet race because he was one of the only ones with a wet setup. Well, this is his opportunity. Kostag now with the inters, with the wet setup, drivers most likely on a dry setup in front of him. Can we see him move his way up to the field?
Okay, I'm going to pick someone else at the back. How about Sam Steed, who's got a podium every season at the British Grand Prix, finished second in both races. I know he's mentioned bad qualifying's not made it to Q3 to start the season. I think maybe, that doesn't really matter after today because he's going to probably win the race or be on the podium, one of the 2. I'm also going to go inside the top 10, though, this time with Aaron Ocon. Today, I think he can change his season around, swing things the other way because he's not got a points finish yet. And he could do a mighty job getting himself inside the points, having a good race today. We've chose us 2. I guess 2 front runners and 2 back runners when it comes to cars, but that's how close this field is, and Aaron can prove that he'll be up there today. Either way, it'll be a wet start. I'm waiting to get to the grid now because I think he spun out there and gone to the back, but just waiting for him. He'll be the last one to get to his grid slot. Now we wait for lights out and the Grand Prix to start. Chat, give me your thoughts. Here we go. Here we go.
5 drivers missed their grid spots. So
Yeah, Logifix is an AI, so he's rather going to need to invite back to retire the car or whatnot because he's not going to get started. But if we don't get started, We'll need you to leave and rejoin, Thrasher, I believe.
You need me to
The case,
leave?
we'll see. We'll see. Hang around 15 more seconds, and we'll see what the case is. So hold on. Once I see someone saying something about a main chat, unless it's another driver, I will let you know. I think we'll figure it out here. Just a moment. Just waiting. Still waiting. Yep, Thrasher,
Yep,
just need
it's
you.
me.
Yep, okay. Here we go. It's starting to wait a moment. Here we go for the British Grand Prix. Wet start. Inners. Hopefully, at least it's not a full wet, so that's not too bad. Now just waiting for the lights to come on. Here we go. Here's the lights. 4, 5 red lights for the British Grand Prix. It's lights out. Away we go. And it's a tentative start between both drivers at the front of the field. They're going to split them in the midfield. 3 wide. But Jab and Pluto, there's contact. Pluto and Jab collide. Now Calm goes and wide, and Pluto takes the lead. Behind that, they're crashing a bit. Aaron down the order, Jab down the order, J&T down the order. Multiple cars changing positions at the start of this race, and a big crazy start, which has allowed Calm back ahead of Pluto. Now, down the back straight, it's a tough start, considering it's a wet setup, or a wet start with a dry setup for some drivers. Crashed at the back, by the way. Alistair was off, Davis was off, a couple of drivers having a bit of trouble, but through the end of Sector 1, Khan leads over Pluto. Next up is Joseph, then Polo, then Chungus, who's challenging Polo.
Yeah, if you could send me an invite back.
Got you there, got you there. Here's the gap for the lead now, 1 second. So this is how the treacherous conditions are playing to these drivers. TJR is going to go by QBR20 Joe for the time being. QBR20 Joe is going to head back at it, but slides for a moment. Now Chungus is also challenging Polo through the Maggots and Beckett section. But already through the first lap, down the order went Davis, Aaron, and then Jab as well. Jab colliding with Pluto. Davis with the back having more trouble. He's had a bad start to his race as well. 7/10 now, that gap to the lead. It's big. That's a big change there.
And real quick, we were talking about Davis. His teammate Sam Steed's gained 10 spots.
Wow.
Over the opening lap. Amazing
Burning Man,
start from Sam.
Alistair switching each other back. Homeless down the inside of Joe. Kostag goes through on Riles for the time being. And will lead the first lap. Ahead of that, Sam Steed's down the order and he's off. Into the gravel. It's a double disaster for McLaren. Joe gets a 10-second from the game. What a start from some of these drivers having trouble. Now Chungus down the inside of Polo. Chungus is going to go side by side with Polo here on corner exit. Side by side. Oh, almost a bit of contact. Luckily keeping in a straight direction. J&T is also going to go by an Alistair here. Multiple positions trading at the start of this race. Alistair hangs around the outside. J&T goes spinning off. J&T, I think, luckily keeps this one off the wall, though. Ahead of that, Brute goes by Kostag. Kostag goes down the order there. He re-enters right in front of TJR. Has to yield for a moment. Oh, they made contact for a moment. Joe's now lagged out as well. If you've got back in the session, Thrasher, you can invite Joe back, please. But now, side-by-side contact. Oh, a bit more contact. Oh, Kostag stays ahead, though. Gap for the lead, 6/10, 7/10 between Pluto and Calm right there, and they're following, well, they're leading a train that is following them as TJR and Homeless change positions for a time being. Now Chungus goes down the inside of Polo, gets the position there. Polo tries to switch it back, can't say nothing about that though, and there you go. That's the spot between them decided.
Yeah. Pluto and Calm. 5/10 is the gap. Pluto sits the fastest lap there.
Alistair, Toneless, TJR, a little battle between them. Alistair goes ahead of Toneless. TJR going ahead of Toneless. Sorry to cut in, but that battle was brewing between them. The positions were swapping, and luckily, no collision from that. So far, I know a couple spins, but not too bad too far. Everyone's still in the race.
Yeah. Obviously the only one is Logic, but
That's been internet issues there all race.
Yep, here comes Burning Man. Looking to try and make a move on Cronus.
For 12th, Burning Man mentioned how he was frustrated because he's not really had the pace so far, but hey, I mean, he's right in the back of the string. He's not doing too bad so far. Toneless lets him go. I think Toneless may have a bit of damage or is simply struggling right now. And that may be the reason why he let him by, but the battle for the lead is 5/10 with Joseph following suit 2.3. That train that I mentioned that he was bringing has Chungus in it, Polo in it, and how about Lando Norris, who was out in qualifying. 8 positions for him, 6 for Brute, 4 for Riles, and 9 for Kostag. Behind that, Burning Man's also gained 7, 2 for Sam, even though he crashed in the start, and a lot of positions lost for J&T, Aaron, Davis, and Jab after their troubles. Now here's Chungus in the back of Joseph, hits the back of him, and avoids a bit of damage, but they keep it in a straight direction.
Yeah.
Interesting start here.
Very. Solid battling though. Communist at first lap. But a lot of nice battling here. Obviously some troubles opening lap, but definitely some interesting battles here going on. One of those interesting battles, Kostag Riles. Kostag gaining. Oh, J&T's out.
Oh, where is that? That's at the pit lane. Got something happen. He's done that in the pit lane. Out of this race already, lap 3.
But here comes Kostag. Kostag and Riles.
There you go. Joe's also going to need an invite back to the session. He's currently 16th and having trouble. Kostag dives it down the inside. The classic dive bomb from Kostag is going to work out this time. Get him up another place, and now he's gained 10 spots on the start of this race. Last season, we saw so many good lap 1s from him. Look at that. He proves us again that that's right. Here's Chungus now and Joseph around the outside. Unbelievable. Can he keep it, though? Yes, he does. Holy cow.
What a move. What a
Riles
move.
on Coach Tag 2 for a moment. Wow. He was desperate to get by, and he did it. Burning Man's now out. Burning Man has crashed at Cop's Corner. Is going to bring out a safety car, and it has. So that has
Thank
halted
you,
this race.
game. I love just seeing yellow sector 1, 2, and 3 instead of seeing safety car.
Tom thinks about pitting, but elects to stay out, and so does the rest of the top 5. Interesting. Yeah, well,
Yep,
let's a little pause to the action, you know.
First driver to pit is Alistar. In P11, Toneless will follow him in. So will Sam Steed.
So they might have had a bit of damage or some sort of issue, lime green, whatever that may be. We'll watch their pit stops to see what that may be. Alistar hits for new inters. Sam will repair... Nope, not repairing a front wing. I was mistaken. I think Toneless was good on the front wing aspect. So all of them just pitting for new inners. They had some sort of issue in the first lap, so they decided to get that inners out of the way. Jab also pitted here, so he could gain a spot or 2 from the pit lane. We'll have to watch this. This is the back of the field. This could be important later in the race, especially who he's ahead, who he's behind. He's ahead of Sam, but he's behind Toneless. So 2 retirements so far with Burning Man and J&T. Not sure what the reasoning there was for Burning Man or J&T. J&T maybe had some ring damage or what it was, but there you go.
Well, Burning Man left out. And then J&T, I know he spun, but I mean, in my opinion, he may have been a little bit too early to give up. But that's oh well.
Hey, Joe's proud he found a new glitch.
Yeah, so 5 laps in, I should say. And it really seems like, I mean, I don't know about you, Ryan, but to me it really seems like this race is obviously, maybe because of the weather or whatnot, but definitely feel like this race is slowed down a lot.
Not only that, but because of the retirements too, it just feels weird. Like both Ferraris are now out for sure. We know as well that J&T's out, which is very odd that he retired in the pit lane like that out of nowhere. I mean, did he get involved in anything? Just give up? I mean, what was happening? Aston Martin looked like they were on the pace, and I mean, Jab had the contact with Pluto at the start. I know there's a couple people not happy about it. I don't know who I can put at blame. I don't know if Jab is more at blame or not, but I think Joe's AI is around on the back of a Red Bull. So, I mean, very odd start to this race, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, also just looking in chat real quick. We have, let's see, Burning Man said, yeah, Burning Man, somehow your crash caused the safety car. Very interesting. We have Clarkson's in the chat. We got some, Riles supporters.
As always. You know, it was his birthday weekend, so he wants to do well. So, there you go.
Very true.
But, very true.
Hopefully he had a great birthday yesterday.
Hope so. We always hope so
or
for our drivers.
Friday, whichever one.
Yeah, well, Saturday, I believe. So, yeah, 20th. Him and Atlantis
Yeah,
both.
it's true.
Atlantis not
Yeah.
here, you noticed, but yeah, he's kind of laying back. Both those drivers laying back on the reserving and the races they partake in this season. So, Riles shows up when he wants. It gives us more viewers, but I don't really care in that aspect. That's okay. And then you have Atlantis, who's also laid back a little bit too. And, yeah, there you go. That's that. But Burning Man was even, yeah, he was wondering why his retirement caused a safety car. I'm also kind of curious on why J&T was out of the race. Is the safety cars in this lap? Thrasher, how about you lead them away as Com will lead this restart ahead of Pluto?
Sure. So, Communist obviously leading the start over Pluto, Chungus, Joseph Polo, your top 5. Further on through the field, Aaron, Joe, 2 drivers for penalties. I haven't voted Joe back a couple times. I don't know if he joined back or not. But when does Communist go? He wants to catch Pluto so on point. Pluto is just waiting, and Com goes now.
There you
Nice
go.
little gap there from Com. Got to about 6/10. And away we go.
The back of the field, Davis had an issue, I believe. Davis and Joe overtaking before the line. I don't know if there's something there. Jab had told us too. A little bit of trouble. Had to fix his headset, so take over for a moment as we see Chungus and Pluto back at it.
Yeah. Further on through the field, a mess happening back here. Joe, Alistar, Davis. Contact between Joe and Alistar. And more contact. Davis, can Davis pull this off? If he does, what a move from Davis. But yeah, further up to the field, Riles, Brute. Nice little train here. TJ looking to try and maybe making a move on Riles. Files back in. But yeah, we're pretty much back to a single file train.
Still, Com does in the lead as well. Jab also goes through, and Davis, I believe, there at the back of the field. Position swap there between both drivers. Jab and Davis, who had collisions from the start of this race, trying to recover. You know, I know it's not the best of motivation for drivers who get taken out, and I know it's tough, but it's still going to be a long race. I mean, I look at races where Jab has got taken out and he's recovered. I mean, yesterday, he didn't win the race in GSR that I commentated, but he was 14th at one point and recovered a second, so you don't know what could happen. And you know what, long term matters too, because you know what? Who knows what the championship could look like. Pluto right now is second,
Davis.
but there you go. Davis is off. That will change his race. He's gonna head to the pit lane, and I don't know why he's stopping toward the start of the pit lane there. Debating if he wants to go back out or not. He's already made up his mind anyway. But enters the pit lane slowly, and he is giving up.
Okay. Well,
It's a bummer. That is now
Pluto.
3 consecutive points. Or, sorry, 3 consecutive races that he's not finished in the points.
Pluto closing in that gap on Com. There was a second. It's now down to 5/6. Kostag Lando for 6. Maybe a little bit of contact there.
You're right. Here we go, side by side between the both of them. Now we're gonna go into Cop's corner now. Overtake button engaged. Here we go. Is Lando gonna go through? Is Kostag gonna leave the room? Yes, but just pinching one another. Lando still gonna stay side by side. These two were teammates in this race 2 seasons ago. And the teammates were 2 seasons ago. Have to back out of that. And it will be Kostag who stays ahead for the time being. However, does Lando take advantage of the exit of the corner where Kostag loses the rear just for a moment? Has tons of cars following behind after losing that time to Polo. Now, here comes Lando back at it. Lando is coming, and here's Brute coming. Brute coming down the inside. Brute trying to hang it around. Can Brute keep it? He will be safer right now, but gonna go far on the outside. They make contact. And Brute gets pushed out just a little bit wide. However, he will concede the place for now. Chunga's fastest lap, and still leading this race is Calm, a 7/10 lead over Pluto. And down the order,
TJR.
issues for TJ. Spun at the end, and spun at the last corner there. But that gap for the lead once again, 3, 5 tenths, changing back and forth.
Wow, this is an interesting race so far.
I must say, I mean, now they're spread out. Now they're trying to figure in what they got,
And, obviously through retirement so far. We got a battle. Jab getting past Alistar for 11th. Oh, and Alistar got in the grass a little bit. Sam Steve's going to get line as well.
They changed that for a moment. Aaron gets a 3-second, by the way. Oh, Lando loses it. Lando's off. Oh, no. He was up in the points, and now that train is going to spread out even more.
Well then, Lando, who, like you said, was in the points, down in them, Kostag and Brute. Now drop all the way to the back. Jab gets past Aaron. So Jab, like you said earlier, the long run, Jab's making them spots back.
Hold on, the lead is a bit close. For a moment, it was a bit close between Calm and Pluto. I think both are on dry setups, and if this race does dry up, which it is getting a little bit calmer on the rain, we'll see what happens. Kostag fastest lap there. He's running back in 6th in that little train between him and Joseph and Polo. All those guys. Chungus is also close to the back of Pluto, also hungry for position. All this heating up on lap 10.
Yeah, something else, Ryan. If you remember the interview with Kostag, he was saying he wanted the wet. He wanted it to rain. He had a wet setup. Look how it's making him. So, it's working so far.
And it is also working for his teammate too, Joseph, who's able to catch to the train because of that too, because he's kind of pulling them along. And you know what? He's got Lando completely out of elimination from that because Lando spun on his own. Yellow flag again. I believe that's Lando once again. It is. Lando's struggling, and I don't usually see this a whole lot, but there you go. Sam was also looking at Aaron, couldn't make a move there. Chungus got close to Pluto, and he's going to get even closer now with the run out of Cop's corner. The last time these two were running second on track, they collided. Obviously, through no fault of really their own, because they both went into each other. And Alistair, TJR, both pick up time penalties for corner cutting. Behind that, Alistair is also close for position on Sam. Chungus using a bit of overtake. Pluto falling back as well. Off the track for a moment was, I believe, Aaron Ocon in front of Jab, one of the two. Now, here's Sam Steed. Overtake on Aaron. Can he use anything from it? In front of that, Chungus also having to stay behind Pluto, even though he's getting even closer. Nowhere yet to make a move. Pluto covering the whole track.
Yeah, Pluto didn't have a great couple set of corners and finished really closed in, just unable to make the move. Brute fast as well.
There you go. Brute is improving. Brute's having a good run in the Haas, especially considering how bad he started and bad he qualified. Here's Sam, or on the outside of Aaron, has to duck out of that one. Switches him back on the exit of the corner. Can he make the move there? Far on the outside, he's got by Aaron Ocon. How about that?
And in front of him, Jab.
Diving down the inside of Ryle, side by side, and now the front of the field has got everyone within a second, but Jab, side by side with Ryle. Jab stays wheel to wheel. He may still stay wheel to wheel. Aaron and Alistair make contact. There's damage. but Riles has to concede the place because Jab will go ahead. Big contact back there. Aaron, I believe he's missing part of his front wing. Yes, he is. End plate on the right side. Is Alistair missing part of his too? No, he's not. So Alistair and Aaron have come together, resulting in damage and resulting in a place or two lost for Alistair as well. While that's happened, the top 6, like I mentioned, all within a second of one another. We got a big battle for the lead. We've got 2 AlphaTauris, an Aston Martin, a Mercedes, a Williams, and a Haas. All of them really in their home Grand Prix in a way.
Yeah. Polo now out of that 1 second. Well, now back in. So it's borderline for that train with Polo.
Kostag was off the track for a moment, but his advantage in the wet setup, how much will that matter compared to the people who are on dry sets but with modifications? Does this race stay wet the whole time? We're almost halfway. Kostag, 17 thousandths off that fastest lap, so he has the fastest lap, or did for a moment, but he will still stick behind and keep with it. Oh, no, he won't. He's going to hit Polo. He knocked Polo a little bit out of the way there, trying to speed him up a little bit. Now Polo stays ahead. Kostag trying to get back by Lando. Also gets by Aaron, who's elected to go to the pit lane. But here's Kostag and Polo. Polo showing his displeasure a little bit on the straight, pinching him. But Kostag back down the inside, gonna dive it. I think positions traded between Sam and Riles. Sam goes ahead. Polo trying to switch back, but Polo concedes the place, and Kostag will go ahead. Now gains his sights up to 4th. His teammate is next.
Yeah. Want to move there. By Kostag, able to complete the move. The nice dive, nice clean dive. We love seeing nice clean dives. But yeah. Now it's the top 4, and Train and Kostag 1.7 back. Oh, for the lead.
Oh, the mistake from Com has allowed Pluto to close in. Chungus is challenging too, but here's Pluto taking the first advantage of this. Gonna go down the inside. Overtake users right there, and there you go. Pluto takes the lead of this race, but Com thinks of it. He does not want him to keep it. Pluto goes to the pit lane now. So does Joseph as well.
And Chungus.
Switching back switching. Here we go, down the inside at the last corner. Go to a side by side. Com goes back to the lead. A tough place to go side by side. Keeps Com in the lead. Will Chungus go back at this? Are they going for more intermediates? Chungus back down the inside, side by side, making contact, touching, and touching again. Here's Com staying on the inside. Chungus gonna keep it around the outside. Can he keep this all the way to the little back straight? Com gets a penalty. Now, overtake for Chungus. Can he go through? Pluto and Joseph come out all behind Lando Norris, but Chungus will take the lead with Kostag, Polo, and Brute following. Alistair and Toneless, by the way, 9th place. Alistair down the inside, goes through right there.
Yeah,
Wow.
very nice battle there. Just some contact, but nothing too major. Something else. Kostag has now caught these two, due to them going side by side, and it looks like Com is really struggling.
If he's really struggling, it's been ever since that he got that penalty and he saw cars in front of him pit. Because now, are they going to try to pit to cover off the undercut? What's this going to be like for the top 3, let alone the top 4 or 5, who've all been in this train, all been in this battle, and all had something to say of it? Now here's Com pitting. Kostag follows. Polo stays out. Do they get it stopped down in time? The pit lane speed is 37 miles per hour, a bit slower than most tracks. So they do get it stopped in time. They're lucky enough to do so. Also pitting as well, I believe it was someone else. Someone pitted. Yes, Riles, sorry. I don't know if he got it stopped in time. I was weary of seeing that, but Jab sets the fastest lap. More inters for these guys as well. Kostag and Com. What's the pit cycle going to be like between them? TJR fastest lap. Com gets ahead of Kostag. That's not a surprise there. However, what's going to happen out of the pit lane between Lando, Pluto, and Joseph? Lando easily going to go ahead, it looks like. However, here's Pluto ahead of Com, and Joseph ahead of Com too. Both ahead of their teammates. Joseph at a Kostag, sorry. That's where the positions have swapped there, allowing Joseph to go ahead. That undercut playing a big favor. Now it's up to Chungus and Polo. Aaron sets the fastest lap, so times are improving. Are we seeing these drivers stick it out to see if the dry tires will be a factor by the end of this race? Is going enters the bad strategy though again. Do you try to wear your tires? Do you try to see if they can go the full distance? That may be what the top 4, let alone 8th through 10th, may try.
Well, something that may be interesting, Ryan, is Jab with that contact. I'm pretty sure he pitted.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Oh,
he
Calm and
has his
Kostag.
pit stop.
Calm goes back by Kostag. Right?
I was just saying, could Jab be risking it to go all the way on the zones that he pitted for? Because he got his pit stop out of the way.
You are right, because they may have a factor to play in this place, and a factor right now for Pluto is Lando Norris. Up in front of them is Brute and Jab pitting. Jab, that whole conversation comes to an end as Pluto gets by Lando for 10th place right now in this race. Lando pits. He had yet to pit in this race. In front of that, it's only Brute and Jab pitting. So, the struggling conditions, what's that going to do for the drivers? When it comes to the rain, though, it has looked like it has calmed down a little bit. But is that anything that's going to matter? Pluto, new inners, new fastest lap. Joseph goes by Brute. Joseph goes by Jab. Brute and Jab come out behind Calm and Kostag. So that undercut will be powerful in this race. You're going to have a safety car if you're any of the top 7, with TJR getting a 3-second again in that top 7.
Yeah, definitely.
Calm goes wide. Here's Kostag to challenge. And he goes through this time. Can he make a move? Aaron gets a penalty now. Nope, cannot challenge. No, he's going to dive down the inside from a long way back, making contact. Kostag goes ahead.
Nicely done there. Just a little bit of contact, but... So something interesting is...
By the way. I mean, that's closed up. That gap is closed up. But go ahead.
Do we see Chungus pit this time?
Do we even see Polo or TJR or Joe? Let's see.
Yeah, Chungus and
yep.
Polo is in.
Man, Sam gonna extend
out.
because remember Sam pitted at the very start when that safety car happened. Is he thinking he can go the full way in this? And does Sam have to try something different in order to win a race here? Not won a race in 2 seasons, Storm. Remember that. And his last podium McLaren's last podium, the team's last podium, came back in, I believe, yeah, round 3, season 1, which, to my knowledge, is about 20 races ago. So that's how long it's been. It's been a while. Polo now comes out of the pit lane. Chungus comes out of the pit lane. Chungus will be behind Pluto, but is he behind Joseph here, who he may be side by side with? Joseph will go ahead. Kostag, though, will stay behind there. Polo comes out side by side with Brute. Will he go wheel to wheel into the pit lane? Brute's going to leave him the room, but Polo has to stay behind. Nothing changes there. Chungus, though, on the back of Joseph now. Polo on the back of Brute with Jab challenging too. Yeah, this makes up for the early battles in the race that they all had. Jab as well, who really undercut these guys. Jab had trouble, caught back up to the field. Now, the undercut has caught right back up to Polo, who is right in the top of the train. Big changes.
Yeah, definitely. Just Chungus continuing to close in on Joseph, but obviously Chungus trying to get his tires warmed up.
Now, the only people who've yet to pit in this race having to make a mandatory pit stop, or at least mandatory pit stop from what we've seen from drivers. I mean, you don't really have to make a mandatory pit stop if it's a full wet race, but Joe yet to pit. He's now got passed by Pluto. Also yet to pit is the car in front of him of TJR. We'll see what they do. However, Chungus still staying behind Joseph for a position. Does anybody else pit in this lap? No, they do not. So, rather you stick with it, or yeah, try to wait for a safety car. That might be what some people are doing if they're staying out for the full distance like TJR and Joe. Try something different. That's what Toneless did in that race, really 2 seasons ago in Portugal, which was his last start. He won the race from it. And, you know what?
Very true.
Same with Sam and Alistair and the rest of those guys up there, because know what? Why not? You weren't readily running in the top 5, maybe even top 7. Try something different.
Oh.
Trying something different is Chungus down the inside of Joseph. Gonna go side by side. Pinching one another. Wheel to wheel. They touch. Joseph goes off the road. Chungus has to leave him room to get back on, though. Overtake, though. Joseph may have picked up a warning. Now is Chungus gonna go down the inside? Yes, he is. Gonna go wheel to wheel. Chungus goes ahead. Does Joseph switch him back, though? No, he does not. Brute stays behind Calm. Brute's also caught up to Calm, so you are right about that. As the conditions have died down, just slightly, very slightly, Calm has picked up, or sorry, struggled, while others have picked up pace.
Yeah, we almost had some contact between Brute and Communist in turn 2. So, keep an eye on that, but nice, you know, obviously, it's not like a bunch of like full train battling, which is what we would want.
Also a bit of strategy, though, too, with what I've seen in the top 5.
Very true. Some different strategies being played out, and who knows, they could work.
Very true. And we'll have to see the way the rest of the race plays out. Leonard Norris picks up a time penalty. Brute Gorgon now in the back of Calm, close to his rear wheel. Ooh, very tight between them. Also very tight between Jab and Polo for a moment. The two ex-teammates. Chungus now and Joe. Joe yet to pit in this race, trying something different for a points finish. And now as a full-time driver, Chungus gonna go down the inside, a little bit desperate on this one. Clips the curb, going wheel to wheel. Can they keep it clean? Joe keeping it ahead though, parking it on the apex right there. Wow! Jab and Polo trade spots now. Polo ahead of Jab for the time being. Jab trying to get back ahead. Polo loses it and Jab will go back ahead. Also Chungus. Oh, you're right. And damage. Damage to Polo. Where's that? Oh my goodness. Now reversing. Joe and Chungus are going to go side by side now. Joe will stay ahead. Unbelievable close quarter racing, which has allowed Chungus to not get by and Joseph to close back in with Kostag and Calm to follow. Joe losing the rear. This all hindering their chance to catch Pluto. They're just allowing Pluto to just run away. Joe still holding him up. Still causing issues. Contact! He's running the back of him. Joe goes wide off the road. Now, Chungus side by side with Joseph. The two teammates are side by side now. Yellow legs. Joe is off. Joe has got some sort of damage now. Here's Joseph, who is got by Chungus because of all that. And Joe fell down the order, so that was crucial for his race. If he wanted to stay out, Kostag gets pinched. Chungus pinching him right there. Has to go out wide as Kostag and has to back off of that one. And Joe is now out. Has he retired in the pit lane or before it? I think he's retired in the pit lane. Giving up right there. So he fought hard and then retired. Don't know if that was giving up or not, but very odd. Very odd, in fact.
Decides to pit. No,
Hopefully he's not retiring.
damage.
I'd hope not. He can still
And
get
Lando's
points here. You never
fed.
know. Right, exactly. And here's
And
Kostag. Lando gives up as well. Unless he had some moving damage. But Kostag down the inside of Chungus. Kostag goes through. I mean, with all the racing here, we've not had much contact or, you know, incidents. We've had a few, but I wouldn't have expected the amount of retirements we've had. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's odd. Very odd race.
Yeah, it is.
Different.
It is Brute, Communist, SPR train here from Joseph on back to Jam, so 6 to 11 all on the train.
Lando had her ring damage, so that makes sense a lot more on why he's given up out of the race. That's understandable, because that's almost non-repairable. Now, Brute down the inside on Calm. Can he go through too? Is Brute going to look for a point finish? Although Calm has the penalty, Brute will be desperate to get ahead. Switches back down the inside. Can't do anything about that, though. Calm goes wide.
Yeah. Maybe a warning there for Calm.
Could be. Could be important to mention if he gets a 6 second now. But the rain pick back up a little bit, or is this a lot of the spray? I mean, it looks like it's picked back up. Polo has left, in fact, but he will need another invite because that's a lag out. I don't think that's a rage quit. He still continued in the race, so I doubt it would be a rage quit. However, I mentioned the gap between the leads. Sam leads this race. 9.9 it was between him and Pluto. Now 8.7. Is this going to be time for Pluto to catch him, or can Sam hold on for a win that has been coming now for 2 seasons? Didn't get one last season at all. Well, we see a third different winner now in the first 3 races too.
We could.
Brute and Jab, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Brute and Jab for wants to try and get the point spot. Wants to get some points. Obviously, after early off in contact with Pluto and try to rebound.
You know, I know Pluto's not made any sort of mistake, but I feel like this is a lot like Hungary 2021 Thrasher. And the thing that I mentioned here is the fact that Pluto's 5th. Pluto's like Hamilton. Sam, you know, I would call him Ocon, although he's not really how to avoid collisions. He's got involved in the couple at the start, pitted, did what Thomas did back at Portugal, actually, and it may make these inners go the full way, and if he can, if Pluto sets another fastest lap, he's going to have a charging Pluto at 7.6 now, but with 6 laps to go, can Sam hold on? And Pluto will have a couple of cars to get through in order to do so.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
like Hamilton.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Question is who would beat Alonso?
TJR and Toneless. TJR looking for a points finish, looking to go by Toneless. The battle in front of Pluto's heating up. Toneless gets overtaken for the podium spot. However, keep in mind, he keep that right now off penalties, and so would Pluto for a 3rd in a row. So yeah, how hard are these guys in front going to fight Pluto? The 2 teammates at AlphaTauri swap spots. If anything happens, they could be on the podium. And in fact, 7 seconds to Pluto. Here's Kostag down the inside. Joseph goes wide, and Kostag goes through. Now Pluto has caught up 6.7 behind Sam. That gap is closing. How much is Sam going to defend? Or is he defending thin air, really? Is that what will be the case here? 6.7, 6.8 now. Pluto getting caught up behind these cars. Is that time that is costing him for the challenge to the lead? Here's TJR catching Toneless. Or sorry, Alistair. Here's Toneless catching TJR. But first, Pluto catching Toneless off guard. Kostag gets a penalty now. 6.4 is that gap. There you go. Position swap. Now coming to 5 to go. Is it thin air he's defending? That's the big question. Calm now in Chungus. Calm trying to go through. Calm goes wide. Can Calm go back through? He was through at one point. Oh, down the inside. Touches him. And this may allow Brute to go through. Brute spins him. They both go off. What a weird turn of events there. Now that's left Brute out of the points on track. What the heck has happened there? How much is TJR going to play into this? Because it's now 6.3 with 5 laps to go. And the time is running out for Sam to defend if that's going to be the case. But here's TJR and Alistair first. The 2 defense man could be the case for Pluto to rather go through or not. Alistair goes wide. Now Pluto's gone through. It may be defending thin air for TJR or Sam. However, TJR up to 2nd may have something to say about it. Or has Alistair got a puncture? He's still contending with Toneless. So it doesn't look like it, but has let Toneless and Pluto through with ease. Or is he just struggling this badly? He's not used battery either. Oh, lost the car a bit. 5.6 to Pluto. 5.5, 5.7 now. And TJR, what is his grace to defend? Is he trying to keep a podium right now? What is he expecting from him? Can he make it to the end? He's not pitted a single lap at all in this race. Here's Pluto. Can he go through? Behind that, Jab and Chungus, the 2 teammates battle. 5.2, 5.6-ish. Jab goes through on Chungus. Man, TJR, he's going to really piss Pluto off here because he's just parking it right now. Look at how much time it's losing for Pluto in this race to Sam. Now 4 laps to go. Alistair pits. He tries to avoid a puncture. Is that a worry for Sam now? Pluto trying to go through. 5.3. Look at the spray picked up for Pluto. And does it go down the inside? Yes, he does! Down the inside. Does TJR defend? Joseph picks up a penalty. TJR couldn't defend for too much longer. However, it is 5.8 now. 5.9. Nearly 6 seconds. That's the gap he'll have to catch Sam by the end of this race.
And TJ may have
Tom goes by
helped
Brute.
Sam.
Alistair pits for new inners. Yeah, you're right. That's what I was mentioning about the Alonso, with Pluto being Hamilton, having that time to gain back. However, dead tires for Sam here. Is this a concern for him? 18 laps in the inners. By the end of this race, if he doesn't lose it right here, he will be at, I want to say what? 22-ish laps inners. Yellow flag!
It's calm.
That's calm! There was also an incident at turn 1, I believe, from Alistair coming out of the pit lane, so I think that also may have caused double yellows. Going wide there at Cop's corner was Chongus, but has Pluto wasted tires while trying to catch TJR. Another yellow flag for Alistair. Right now, what an interesting podium. We'd have Sam, Pluto, toneless if that were to be the case. Jab's time is running out. He's got a chance to take it off penalties.
Oh, TJ
is in. He's got a puncture on the right front. 22 laps on the inners. Is this a concern for Sam, who crosses the line with 3 laps to go? 4.8 now is that gap. This could be a concern. This could be a questioning mark for the people here. Can Sam hold off for a first win in a long time, it feels like? You want to go back all the way to April 10th? April 10th for Sam? 4 months from now? It's felt like forever. He didn't win last season. He contended for the championship, though, with Pluto, and ended up not winning it again. Ended up taking the most podiums. No wins. Ended up going winless the whole season. Going without a pole. Sam hasn't taken a pole or a win since his last win. Back in the Ferrari at Imola, it's been like a curse since. He binned it in Portugal. Got disqualified. Didn't win the race at all, by the way. Didn't win the championship at all. He lost it completely. His motivation has been quite iffy since then. He's had good pace, but not the opportunities he's needed. But with 2 laps to go this time, he's got an opportunity to hold off Pluto. TJR picks up a penalty. He was in the battle for a 10th. What's the warnings look like, Thrasher, between Pluto and Sam, though?
Yeah, I'll check them real quick. So, Sam has 2 warnings. Pluto has 2 warnings as well. But Pluto's were both collision warnings.
Was Sam's both collision warnings? That better be the question. Fastest lap for Pluto. You know he's pushing at 3.5. Is that all he can push? Will it be down to a last lap battle? Kostag is trying to hang on for this. He can try to get by Toneless. Toneless may hang on for a podium as well. We will have to watch if a puncture comes up for Sam or not. 20 laps in the inners.
For track limits.
So Sam is more of a concern than Pluto because that gap could be under 3 seconds soon here. He's got to keep it on track. Alistair's now crashed out. That is late in the race and will not bring out a safety car. Here's Kostag for 3rd. Kostag goes through with these. But no, Toneless fights it back. And Toneless goes wide. Does he switch it back, though? No, he will not. Toneless on the same exact strategy as Sam. So this will be interesting. 1 for a podium, 1 for a win. McLaren as well. What a drought they've gone through. They were second to last all time in points for the last couple of seasons here after season 1. And then after season 2, they were just ahead of Mercedes. Last race, Mercedes had a points finish, allowing McLaren to be put down all the way to the very bottom of all-time points. McLaren are also now looking for a podium since the 3rd race in the league. Now we come to the final lap. 22 laps on these inners. Sam will go if he can make it through. 1 last time. 2.5 the gap. And he is not off his fastest lap either. He's pushing it without getting a track limit penalty so far. 2.2, 2.1. Is his tires that dead? Here's Joseph with Toneless. Toneless trying to hang on for a podium. This is incredible. Sam.
1.9, 1.7.
All the way to Imola. He's got a puncture. Sam's got a puncture. Again. It's flashbacks to France of season 3, where he lost a podium. Pluto goes by to take the lead now. It's heartbreak for Sam, where the win once again slips away from him. A podium for McLaren will have to wait. A win for Sam will have to wait again. Oh boy, you have to feel for Sam Steed, but can he hang on? He's got a good gap to Kostag, and it's only a left front puncture. Can he keep it on the track, though? This is the battle for second place. However, Pluto's taking back the lead. Gap between Toneless and Kostag is 4.6. This is the battle for the podium. Joseph is right there. Jab is there to challenge. Can he say something? 3.7 between Kostag and Sam. 3/10 now, Joseph and Toneless. Jab is there to pounce. A home race for Pluto. Bad luck here. Never finished above 7th. The last person to win 2 races in a row was Sam Steed, who Pluto had to overtake to win this race. He's overtook him beautifully on the last lap. Will win the British Grand Prix. It's a home win for Pluto. Pluto, your championship leader, goes back to back. Sam hangs on for a podium for McLaren. McLaren see the podium again, but it is not the win that Sam would have wanted. How about Toneless as a reserve, holding on for Alfa Romeo? Kostag 4th, and Jab rounding out the top 5. Still completing the race is Chungus, Joseph, Brute for a first points finish. Then you go to Com, TJR. Can Ryle say something for the final point? I think he can. Yes, he can. Riles takes the final point while TJR takes the fastest lap. Wow. I must say, that was interesting. Aaron Ocon misses out on points again. Polo will be 13th. Heartbreak for Sam. Had to try something different. I like it. So did Toneless. Wow. Wow. Let's get the rest of our podium sitters in here. Toneless, his last race was a podium. He still keeps that streak going. How about that? Chooses when he wants to race now. Gets himself a podium. Got himself a points finish here in this race a season or 2 seasons ago, sorry. Sam continues the streak of second place in the British Grand Prix, but that win that he was looking for, going winless last season, hasn't won since Imola, is gonna keep going. Well, we'll get Toneless in here to complete the podium. Type of race strategy wise, it was the type of race for these drivers. It was shows the difference when you look at the starting grid spots for second, third, and fourth. We'll get right on interviews. Drivers, include your audio. Wow, what can I say? You guys, you three definitely put on a performance. Some with strategy, some with battles, some with a fight, and some to hang on. And some really pushing it too. But I will start with Toneless. Toneless. We saw Sam get a puncture and lose the win because of it. Were you worried about a puncture to keep the podium streak going? And did you get a puncture? Now, I have to ask, you know, from the back of the grid, try something different. Did you feel you tried something different to get the podium you wanted? Are you happy with the result today? Go ahead. Most definitely. Thrasher, any questions for Toneless?
No, but what a remarkable drive, and congratulations on a well-deserved podium.
Thrasher, take along with Sam.
Sam. heartbreak.
Yeah.
That's just that's all you can say. You had the strategy, you had everything, it was lined up, and just luck ran out. Um, how I mean, just go ahead and take me through just take me through your race.
Well, I didn't have track position to start. Well, I had track position on lap one. I was fan, so I had to try something different when that safety car came out. And my plan wasn't to go to the end, but once I saw where I would have come out after extending the stint, I had to try something different. And of course, I'm happy with the result, but the way it happened, I think if it wasn't for that puncher, I would have won. But you know, it happened. But P2 is still very good. It's just annoying how it came.
Yeah, no, I feel that, you didn't have the start. I mean, the start of the season you wanted. Obviously struggling Australia and didn't really get. I mean, you had a decent finish at Jeddah, but coming in, getting eliminated early in qualifying and able to like you said, do something different. Which was, I mean, well done. Absolutely beautiful strategy call. Just couldn't hold on for one more lap.
I mean, I wasn't even pushing too hard, but I think that there could have been a little bit more management that I did in that race and going a bit slower through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. But that's the way that it worked out. But I mean, so far this season, I've just made too many mistakes, and it's cost me. And today, I did everything right in the race, apart from spinning. But yeah.
Well, regardless, still hell of a strategy call, and
Yeah.
congratulations on a P2. Obviously, I know you wanted
Thank
to
you.
win, but congratulations on a P2. Ryan, go ahead.
Within the last, I could really say 12 races now, where the win has slipped away from you, or you've slipped away from the win, whatever it may be. It is now another race where that streak of yours that you had for a while, winning the most races in the league, now is tied. And you also see the races you've lost, the races you've been in contention. I mean, what are you going to have to do to get up there and win again? And qualifying wise too, with that McLaren, you've had really good races, but you've not made Q3. Is that what it's going to take to maybe get a win here again? Or maybe more podiums?
Definitely. I have to qualify better. I mean, today I went with something different as well, setup-wise, and I guess it worked in the race. I mean, but I needed track position for it to work, and I barely had track position until I made the strategy call. But qualifying, I have to improve on. I have to understand the car better in qualifying, and that's the only way where I'm going to get results. But that was my best chance today, and I did everything right, and it just didn't go my way.
I don't have any more questions for you, but congratulations on the result. And this time, again, pending post-race penalties, of course, you will be on the podium for McLaren, and McLaren get a podium for the first time since round 3, season 1. So that drought is over at least 2. So one drought, maybe one more to go.
Unless I get a penalty somehow.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll see.
I did nothing wrong this race.
So there you go. You weren't near anybody much, but there you go. Now on to a race winner, Pluto. Most wins in the league, back-to-back, a home race victory, a better finish in 7th in Britain. What did you have to do to achieve that today, especially going through this last few laps, that you were just able to close up, get there, and be in the right position, right time, at the right moment?
Everything had to line up to be absolutely perfect for me to win then. Con made that mistake on the lap that I pitted, which put me right next to him. I got by him, which put him into had to fight, so I pitted because they'd be fighting. I'd get a nice undercut. Joseph followed me, which was nice. Came out on a really good outlap and put a bit of distance between us. And then I got up to Joe when he was on his own, so it was easy to pass. And then everyone else got caught up behind him, which is another time game for me, which was great. And then the end was so fun. I felt like Dinoco trying to catch Lightning McQueen. It was really, really fun.
I have to ask. You were pushing there, pushing a lot, and how much were you worried about maybe spinning, maybe losing the rear, maybe losing enough time to where it wouldn't be enough in case he didn't get a puncture?
I just didn't think about spinning. As soon as you start to think you're gonna crash, you'll crash. So I just kept churning out the laps, pushing as hard as I could without overstepping the line. And I didn't think I'd catch it. I thought it'd be close. I thought I'd get right onto the back of him into the final corner, but all you had to do was park the bus in the middle of the track. So yeah, we were saying in the party that he might puncture, and yeah, I'm just lucky that it happened. It was really good.
You know, you mentioned what was it? Unlucky that happened, or lucky that it happened? I don't remember. I couldn't really.
Lucky
tell you
that it happened.
Oh yeah, unlucky that it happened. But
when did it puncture? Was it right over the line?
right where Hamilton got it.
Turn
and-
2.
Yeah. Oh, turn two.
Ah,
Okay, I
okay.
see.
Nice.
I didn't see the puncture till
Yeah,
after.
I saw you going slow and I thought, oh my god, he's punctured. I kept telling him. But I wasn't sure if you were just nursing it back, trying to not puncture, or if you actually had punctured at that point.
Still hung on
That's
to a
why I
podium
signed
with
it
puncture
so
too. You mentioned.
I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
expect
great.
it to pop at 79 but it just did. So it's frustrating.
So my last question for you, Pluto, is look at these first 3 races. I don't think you've been probably the guy who's even been top 2 in every race. I feel like there's been someone who's been slightly faster, and you now extend the championship lead from this. You've won back to back. I mean, do you think you're running at the best level you've been at before for your standards at this point? Because you've started off the season with 3 podiums, 2 wins, and nearly 70 points almost. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah. For this league, this is the best I've ever driven. Everything's gone right for me. Nothing's really gone wrong. I've had to do the right strategy call in each race, and I've had to push when it mattered in each race. The only time I've been fastest in this league so far, in this season so far, is those laps where I went back to back fastest laps just then, trying to catch Sam.
Well, I have to say, it shows tons of consistency from you, and it shows what you're capable of. We'll have a lot of good fights in this championship for sure throughout the season. Thrasher, my next fight is... What are you going to ask Pluto? Do you have anything to ask him?
No, not really. Actually, I do have one question. So, obviously, you were closing down the gaps. You had to get through traffic. You had to get through Joe, and you had to get through TJ, TJR. What were your thoughts trying to get through the lap traffic?
Don't fuck up. I knew I'd get them, and I didn't want to force an overtake and them turning on me and then race over. So I just sat behind the Red Bull. I sat behind him until I found an actual overtaking spot, and he might have ended up costing me the win as well by defending so well. Because that was a lot of the time loss. I was going so slow through the final sector behind him.
I told Thrasher I was getting flashbacks to Hungary 2021 a little bit with the positions people were in. For that, but go ahead,
Yeah,
Thrasher,
he's
sorry.
great, really good.
Go ahead, Thrasher.
But just overall, congratulations on a win. Back to back now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
so Thrasher, next week we start our first sprint race of the season of 2 at Bahrain, where more points are on offer. Just a quick word. What do you think we expect there next week? I mean, do we see this continuing theme of Pluto consistency, just a lot of back-to-back wheel-to-wheel racing and changes to even our podium sitters?
I don't know. I think it'll be eventful for one. So tune in. Make sure everyone tunes in because it's going to be one exciting race. I don't know. I think we see a new winner this season. That'll be my prediction. I think whether it's who that's another question, but yeah, all I'm gonna say is it's gonna be eventful and make sure everyone tunes in.
Most definitely. Next week, the Bahrain Grand Prix sprint race, along with the race itself. We'll see what happens for round number 4. Join us, the last race of August. Speaking of August, can Pluto keep up the August podium streak? We'll see. Next week, 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK. Join us that Sunday. We'll catch you then. Rhino Cotton 31, GSR Thrasher 9319. Out. Catch you next time.